Hey, everybody. Colin Plume, CEO of Noble Gold Investments, mydigitalmoney.com. Got my buddy, great guy, Josh Ward, SVP of Sales, man of the street, man of the hour. Good to have you here. We got a lot of fun stuff. We were talking off air, but let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about something that's going to make people really rich, copper.
Yes. Yeah. No, copper, as we were talking about, is very close to its all-time high of just around $5 a pound. Today, we're sitting at, about $4.40 per pound. And we were talking about the pennies, right? That's kind of, we're leading into what we were going to discuss today.
Yeah.
And I was reminding Colin here that back, we had all of our pennies for 100 years were made out of 95% copper. And I think it was 82, they got rid of they made it copper clad, which is what we're used to now, where it's just like a coating of copper.
Mm-hmm.
And all pennies before 1982 are worth 5-6 cents each, right? Because it's made out of 95% copper. It's not made out of it's not plated.
Mm-hmm.
And, leading into our discussion here of how the U.S. government is getting rid of the penny because it costs them 3 cents to make each penny.
Yeah.
Which is wild, right? I mean, it's our money has become so worthless that the government has to debase it. I mean, they've debased it so many times to where they're just going to get rid of it. That's what they're doing now.
Yeah, and it's a little scary because it sort of sets a precedent, right?
Sure.
Like, are they eventually going to want to get away from dollars?
Sure.
I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk of that.
That's exactly right.
And the problem with that is it's a control issue, right? The idea that everything's going to be a digit, it becomes like a little bit like Vegas. Like, we don't really have any connection to our money.
No, and that's really what the government wants, right? The government doesn't like, any government doesn't like their citizens using cash because deals can be done in cash that the taxes aren't paid or this isn't paid, right? The government can control when everyone keeps their money in the bank and everybody sends payments through the ether, through the internet. The government can control it.
Yeah,
right?
And that's what they want.
They can't control two people doing a cash purchase together.
Yeah. And this is totally independent of us, but countries like China and Russia and Iran and all these countries are buying gold because they want to be able to do trades outside of the dollar, and they want to have a separate economy, right? They want to move in a different direction. They want to have control, and they don't want to have to worry about sanctions, right? And it's sort of the idea that we're going to get away from the penny, and that the more of this idea that the government's going to have more control and it's just going to be a digit, it's just scary.
Yeah.
I think it's quite scary.
I think within 10 years that we'll have no coinage, no actual, quarters, dimes, nickels. I think they're going to get rid of all of those too, to be honest, because this is just kind of the camel's nose under the tent here, right? This is just getting started. And then, hey, well, this, now that this was such a success, let's get rid of the nickel, let's get rid of the dime, let's get rid of the quarter, right? And let's just round everything up to the nearest dollar, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I think, what I see is going to happen.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, and that's not great for us.
No,
it's great for institutions. It's great for the banks. It's great for the government to have more of this control. But then you have states going in the other direction. You have Texas, Florida, that made gold and silver legal tender.
That's correct. Yeah, my great state of Texas already did a few years ago.
Yeah. Florida. I mean, if you saw DeSantis talking about why they wanted to do it, and he's like, this is real money.
Yeah.
We want to have the ability to give people this opportunity. We want, as a state, to be able to have it, and it's a counter argument to the dollar losing value. So I mean, this is pretty big. This isn't just saying gold and silver can be purchased and there's no tax. This is like saying it's actually legal tender.
Yes.
Right. And there's only a few states that I think have made it legal tenders, Texas, and there's a lot of states that are accepting it, but Florida's bill is much more aggressive, and that you can go, somewhere in that state and transact in gold and silver. And he did talk about having it tied into some kind of exchange or something but I think those things always fall apart. I mean, there's just something about, right, just having this as, this is a kilo of gold that I think we were talking off air that I bought this for like 60,000. What's this worth?
Today, 108.5.
Yeah, I bought this 4 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is real money, right?
Yeah.
This is, and if you think about someone that kept their money in the bank and felt safe, or they bought this, right? I mean, I think that's, and it's, it's heavy. I mean, you could work out with this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
This is.
It's about my only workout routine, is the truth.
You like this. If you need it, like if you got a tooth, you could chip a little bit of this off and you could put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's, a testament to inflation, a testament to value, to, government overprinting. The past 4 years, this is, nearly doubled in value.
That's correct.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty wild to think about. I remember when I started, I was selling these for about 40,000, maybe 45,000.
Mm-hmm.
And today they're pushing 110,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. We were talking off air about, with some of the marketing team, JR, and there's a big push in family offices. They're buying these, and when there's big buyers in the market when these start to dry up, because most household investors are not going to buy this, right? I mean, you've been doing this a long time. You've sold this, 12, 15 times, but for the most of our buyers are buying 1 ounce, 100 gram, 50 gram, these kind of denominations. But these kilos are hard to get right now. Yeah, because there's a whole new group of family offices that are acquiring gold, and a lot of it is just this overall sentiment that I'm hearing. I've been talking to a lot of people just about the economy and our debt, and they feel like we're going to see some kind of change in our currency. This currency crisis is coming ahead soon, and most people believe that there's going to be some kind of shift. And President Trump is a big fan of gold. I mean, he's talked to gold. He's even taken gold in his own business. 40 years ago, he took gold for a lease and for payment. So he's obviously a big fan. He loves gold. So I think this is coming in the forefront a little bit here. Let's shift to a metal that we don't talk enough about, I think, is platinum. You love platinum.
I've been a big proponent of platinum for many years.
Yeah. Why are people, what's happened over the last few months where now people are really talking about platinum?
Platinum is kind of, I would say, underrated, just because the fact that it's never really been a monetary metal, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you think of gold and silver, it was used as money for hundreds of years. Platinum has only been around for a few hundred years because of the melting point. So platinum's melting point is almost double that of gold. So 150, 200 years ago, we didn't have the technology to refine platinum into its purest state and be able to refine it. But now we can. So, a lot of people don't realize too that platinum is over 10 times rarer than gold.
Yeah.
So there's 10 times more gold on this planet than there is platinum. And I think with this new economy, with this new age that we're going into, I think platinum and especially silver are going to play very big roles in those sectors. And historically, platinum is cheap, right? I remember when I started here at Noble, it was 1-to-1. So you could buy 1 ounce of gold or 1 ounce of platinum for the same money. It was about $1,200, $1,300.
Right.
Today, you get 3 ounces of platinum for every 1 ounce of gold.
Right.
Which just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, right?
And because it's more rare.
Yeah, it's more rare. There's no reason why there's platinum is a third of the price of gold. I mean, when you think of platinum, you think of gold, right? They have all of the like the Olympics, right? Or not the Olympics, that's a bad example, but there's like the platinum level or the gold level, or the silver level.
Right.
Bronze,
platinum always
Platinum's,
seems to be the top.
Yes.
But yet, in terms of metal price, gold's the top.
That's correct.
Right.
By a factor of 3.
Yeah. Also, 70% of the world's platinum comes from South Africa. A lot of aging mines, power grid instability, labor disputes. So, I mean, a lot of the platinum is coming from, one location. And so if you see any kind of pullback or bottleneck, then you could see a shortage of a metal that's heavily used, catalytic converters, and, the uses go on and on.
That's exactly it.
And I think when people are looking at platinum, what would you say is like, relative, like gold, silver, platinum? And I'm not going to hold you to this, but like, what's like, if you like starting out today, like, what do you think somebody should be looking at in terms of percentages of metals?
It's a case by case, but a lot of my clients that acquire platinum do anywhere from 10 to 20%
Mhm. Okay.
into platinum. So I get a lot of, 10 to 20% platinum and then 40% silver, 40% gold. I would say, I have some people that just bought only platinum, but
Right.
for the most part, it's a smaller position in the portfolio, 10 to 20%.
If somebody doesn't have gold, they should always have some gold.
Yes,
right? You should
absolutely.
always have gold in your portfolio.
Gold and silver are kind of the base.
Yeah.
Once you get those, once you have those metals on hand, you have those part of your portfolio, especially if you see a down day on platinum or if you see platinum trending down, I think it's a really good idea to start adding to your position.
Yeah.
I own a lot of platinum personally. I've been buying it for years. It's a little harder to get, so they don't make as much platinum coins and bars as they do with gold and silver. Like for example, we have hundreds of different gold options in stock ready to be shipped, hundreds of different silver items in stock ready to be shipped. We have a handful of platinum items right now ready to be shipped in limited quantities.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, what does that tell you? And the price is down, right, historically. So,
Yeah.
to me, those are all buying signals. Those are all, the smart money's buying.
Yeah.
And if you have it, hold on to it.
Yeah. And I think like when you look at, mining of platinum is not easy.
It's usually a byproduct. That's something I look at.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of other things. And I think it's, the other thing too, is we should mention, we have a whole brand new platinum guide.
Yeah.
That we just released. For anyone on our email list, they would have gotten it this weekend. But if you haven't received our platinum guide, we used the Platinum World Council, a lot of the data that came out of there. We used our research. It took us about a year to put this platinum guide together. So for anyone watching this, that's like, okay, Josh, you seem like a smart guy. Like, what's the next step? Is like, well, maybe you want more information.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely get into our email list. You can contact us or Josh or anybody at Noble Gold, and they can send you our platinum guide so you can learn a little bit more. And that's, really what the thing we focus on Noble Gold is, like getting you all that information in your hands, right? I mean, that's the thing we've always focused on.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job is not to tell you what to do, right? I mean, we're not financial advisors. It's
Right.
not like this is a managed account that I'm making a percentage on every year of your account, right? I'm here to kind of go over your options, help you decide and make an educated decision for yourself. And the best part about it too is, let's say we do well on gold, we do well on platinum. At a later date, you can always liquidate those metals to cash and get into another metal, right? I mean, I have having a lot of people liquidating gold to buy platinum and silver right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of the trend in the last month or two, I would say.
Yeah, and I think what it is like, I think the more you have exposure to different precious metals, people tend to feel more comfortable with those things. So yeah, platinum's exciting. If anybody wants more information on platinum, definitely contact us. We can get you more information. But let's talk about, just the markets and, people you've been talking to. What do you think President Trump, what do you think it's in his dollar gold strategy? Like, where do you think we're going here? I know we had the new beautiful bill.
Yeah.
I know they've hinted at going to see Fort Knox.
Yeah.
They haven't. What do you think? What do you think he's going to do to make our dollar either stronger or weaker?
Yeah.
Because I know he's kind of said on both sides, like a weaker dollar could be better. Because for trade, it could help us, like, being able to sell goods at a better price. Like, what do you think is sort of, I'm not going to hold you to, but what do you think what do you think some of the plan is here?
In a strong dollar environment, the stock market does not historically usually do great. I think Trump needs to bring down interest rates, and I think that's to spark the economy. So if he brings down interest rates, that's negative for the dollar, right? So I think in the short term, if he gets interest rates down, I think the dollar is going to fall. Long term, I like the dollar, right? I mean, we're American. I like the dollar long term. But at the same time, I'm not holding my money in the dollar, right? I mean, it's not like it's I live in the United States and I pay everything in US dollars, but I'm not holding on to them in the bank, right? I'm holding on to gold, silver, and platinum.
Sure.
Because it's a
gonna
better store of value.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, he's hinted at gold. He likes gold. He always said that he's a fan of gold, and it's a part of his playbook. but he's inherited, $37 trillion in debt. He's inherited an economy that, at face value looks like it's struggling. The GDP is down. But I agree with you. I mean, I think the only thing that boosts the economy right now is lowering interest rates. And my concern is that even when they tried to lower interest rates last year with the Fed, it didn't really work because the 10-year just went up. They really can't. There's nothing to push the 10-year down except, a situation where if we look like we're starting to deal with our debt problem, then people may feel more comfortable with our debt. Moody's downgraded our debt because we have so much debt, right? They said it's not a good buy.
Yeah.
And so the problem we're in right now is that if you try to stimulate too much with spending, you're sending a message to the world that we're spending a lot of money and that our debt's going to be dangerous. And so he's in a weird position, I think. He's in a difficult position. But ultimately, I do believe that they will have a rate cut at least once this year. I think that'll help a little bit. But, the biggest problem, I think, as people like us that look at our finances and look at our day-to-day and look at our spending, we got to get our spending under control. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the only way the government can reduce their debt is with taxation or inflation, right? We can't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
The government doesn't have an unlimited playbook. They have two options, right? They can print money, which is what they've been doing for the last 30 years, right? Or they can create massive inflation to wipe away the debt, right? Just like
it doesn't wipe away the debt, but it puts more money into circulation.
Yes.
Right? I mean, and so, yeah, I think the playbook that we've been going on of buying everything overseas, working, so I think the playbook is bringing everything back home, like manufacturing back home, like really focusing on growing the U.S. economy. But a lot of the measures that do that put us in more financial. I mean, this bill puts us, they say, like almost $5 trillion in more debt. That sends a bad message to the world. So I don't think there's any scenario, in my opinion, that gold is not a key component of hedge funds, central banks, institutional banks. They're all looking for a way to hedge. They're all looking for a way to hedge right now. And I just can't see gold not playing a part of that. And then I think eventually this 100-to-1 gold to silver ratio is going to break. And I think silver is going to start to take off. And I still think silver potentially breaking 40 this year is on the horizon.
Oh, sure. Oh.
Because it just doesn't make sense. 100-to-1 gold to silver, which it never sits at. Silver's in high demand with all the industries that we've discussed. I go into my book, Silver's the New Oil. I talk about all these incredible industries that need silver. So you just have this connection with the president and the government. Scott Bessent actually is he's a big proponent of gold. So I think big picture, like gold, I think a 5,000 on gold is a number we're going to see. I think we're going to see before Trump's out of office. I think gold's going to hit 5,000, which from where it is today would be a pretty significant gain. And I think silver, at 5,000 gold, silver sitting at 50, 60, 70 is realistic.
That would be right at 100-to-1, which we're at right now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it would be.
And that'd be a good number for us.
Yeah.
The problem with gold continuing to go up is like, you're just like, where else would even if you feel like you're in a good profit position, you're like, where else am I getting at a better profit? And so people are just, they're just sticking around. The only people who are really selling right now are people that just need the money for retirement.
They have to, yeah.
Yeah, or if they have a business they want to invest into. That's one of the great things that I do want to talk about is that with all these new sellers in the gold market, it's really important. You have Costco, you have all these gold dealers selling semi-numismatic coins. Like, it's really important that you buy bullion and you buy from a place that buys and sells.
That's
right.
Correct. And that's the biggest problem with Costco. Right, is that they'll sell you the metals on a credit card, sure, but when you need to liquidate those metals, if there's an emergency comes up, if you go to Costco with your gold bar, they're going to look at you like you have a third eye. Right? They're not a buyer,
Right.
So they'll sell it to you, But now you're responsible.
Can you
for
trade
finding
it
a
in
buyer.
for like 1,000 hot dogs?
No,
Or
no.
whatever. No, they
Might
don't
be a
even-
good idea.
Maybe-
How about
how
this?
many of those pizzas could
Next
you
time,
get?
next time I go to Costco, I'll bring a 1 ounce gold bar to them, and I'll see if I
Yeah.
can swap them out
Swap it out and go,
for
hey,
pizzas and chicken bakes.
I mean, how much are those hot dogs? $1.50?
$1.50, yeah.
Okay, so you could get like, how many is that? Like
See, that's a lot of.
275 hot
See, I'll
dogs?
tell you exactly.
Let's see, yeah, 270. Well, no, yeah, get into $1.50. How many is it?
2,250 hot dogs.
Here we go, baby. Here we are at Costco. We want to listen. We're not going to make this difficult.
Yeah.
We're just going to go just hot dogs for gold,
That's correct.
right?
There should be a chart that measures how many Costco hot dogs you can get for an ounce of gold, right? And over the years, kind of chart
We'll
it.
put that on the website.
Yeah.
I think that's the next part.
Give the
but-
people what they want.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And then we could bring in the guy that eats all those hot dogs.
Yes.
You know, the guy, what's the guy's name?
Chestnut.
Yeah,
Joey
Chestnut. Yeah, Morris. Yeah, Morris Chestnut. No, Joey Chestnut. Yeah. Anyways, we are really going on a
Get
weird
Nathan
path.
to sponsor it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, gold for hot dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you listen. That's what people are saying. Like, and they're selling tons of gold, but like at the end of the day, you got to sell it.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so now they're going to end up going to a pawn shop, and
And I tell you this right now, they don't offer the most, right?
yeah, pawn
I mean,
shops are.
They get you coming and going. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
pawn shops historically are some of the worst places to buy and the worst places to sell metals.
Yeah.
Right, because they deal with borrowing and they buy other stuff. You really want to go to, if you're forced to go locally, you have to go to a specific coin bullion shop, and they have them in every county of every state. You'd be surprised how many are close by.
But ultimately, you're going to do better with like a dealer like us. It's like
Yes.
selling this stuff all the time. And you did mention we have thousands of potential SKUs that we sell. We really only sell 10, 12 items, right? Mostly the highest weight, highest purity, best price, right? That's what we sell the most. So we are happy to buy back from clients because we can just turn around and sell. But also the client wins too, because the problem with the pawn shop is that they have so many items and they don't know how long that guitar is going to sit on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
So they gotta think it's going to last a long time, and they got to make a profit
That's right.
wherever the market is. We're not in that situation. We're moving inventory all the time.
No.
So
Most pawn shops actually have a legal requirement to hold product that they purchase for 30 to 60 days. So they're buying it with that caveat, right? Knowing that, hey, I'm going to buy it today and I know I can't
Yeah.
sell it for a month or two.
right,
So they're going to offer you 50 cents on the dollar, 60, 70 cents on the dollar because they're taking a risk. They got to hold that for 30 to 60 days.
Yeah.
So when you deal with Noble Gold, there's none of that, right? You could buy it today and sell it tomorrow. There's no hold period, and we're always here to buy it back. I mean, that's something that we've expanded our buybacks team. We've gotten more people in there.
Yeah.
We're always thinking of new ways to get the buybacks done quicker so people can get their funds sooner.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that for someone like you, Josh, I mean, you've sold hundreds of millions of dollars in gold. I think it's the pricing, even though the price of gold has gone up, the price of products has gone down,
Yes.
right? So it's never been cheaper
That's correct.
for someone to buy gold, silver, platinum than it is today relative to the spot price. So, I think that people should keep that in mind. I mean, during the pandemic, the product prices were really high and it was expensive. Right now, it's bargain prices. So you're getting the right product that all the banks and everyone's buying, and you're getting it at a great price. So I think it's a pretty exciting time.
Yes.
We have a platinum guide we discussed. We have a gold guide. We have a silver guide. We give a lot of good information. If someone wants to learn, Josh, they call you, like, tell us a little bit about how that process goes and like what you do and kind of lead them to where they can get more information.
Yeah, so let's kind of start from the beginning. So let's say you see us on one of your favorite podcasts or a radio show, and you think to yourself, okay, I'd like to get some more information, right? So you put your information on our loading screen, on our landing page, and I get notified, or one of our great representatives get notified, and we actually reach out personally to introduce ourselves, to make sure that you got the gold and silver guide, to make sure that you understand all the different processes, all the different avenues that you have to pursue, whether it's buying metals with cash for home delivery or protecting an IRA or a 401k. We go over the different avenues that we have available. And then we kind of narrow down what makes the most sense for the
you.
individual, right? It's different for everybody. So it's not a one size fits all. So once we figure out whether we want to do a cash deal or an IRA or maybe both, then we go over the process, right? And when you're buying metals with cash, it's the same day. So it's not a long drawn out period. We figure out a dollar amount that you want to protect. We tailor a package specifically for each client, right? It's not like I have a $10,000 grab bag or a $50,000 grab bag back here, right? We have to pick out individually the metals for each individual client that we have. And that's a little bit different. So we go down through the different scenarios. We figure out exactly what makes the most sense. We figure out a dollar amount we want to protect. And then all the client has to do is send a wire transfer to pay for those metals. And 1 to 2 weeks later, sometimes sooner, the metals get delivered fully insured with signature confirmation to your door. Right. Real clean, real easy, no sales tax, no shipping charges, and the metals get delivered to your door. Right. The IRA is a little bit more of a process, right? Because we're dealing with custodians, we're dealing with a depository, and then you have Noble Gold here. So, I would say the average retirement account is 1 to 2 weeks from start to finish. So it's pretty quick. But we have to set up your gold and silver IRA. We have to transfer the money tax and penalty free from your existing custodian to your new gold and silver IRA. And once the money lands, then we get to do the fun part. Then we get to pick out the metals. We get to figure out, okay, Colin, we got 100,000 to work with. Do we want to do half gold, half silver? Do we want to mix in some platinum? Do we want to, focus on coins or bars? I go over and explain the differences, right? So, the bars are made by private mints. The coins are made by government mints, with exception to a few. So most people are looking for the best value, right? They're not looking for a sexy design or a graded coin or a proof coin. They're not a coin collector. They're trying to protect their wealth. So products like these bars are some of the best for that. Right. Because you're getting these bars at the lowest premium. You're not paying a sales guy that's going to upsell you on something, right? Yeah. You're buying this based off the gold price. You're not buying it based off of the rarity of the coin or how many they made, or whether you can find it online or not, right? I mean, it has a set price all over the world, and it trades. When the market closes in America, it opens up in Asia, right? When it closes in Asia, it opens up in Europe. So the price of gold is trading all throughout the night. It's not like Monday through Friday like you think of a stock. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and we've streamlined this process. I've been in the business 16 years. We've really made it a smooth process. I think, we just broke 600 reviews on Google today, but we have thousands of reviews on other websites also. So check us out. Talk to Josh. Wealth of knowledge, really someone that owns a lot of gold and silver himself, been buying for many, many years. You can really learn a lot. So anyone that's watching, if you want the information or you just want to talk to Josh, give us a call. You can ask for him. He'll give you a lot of good information. And I think this was informative, gave a lot of good information. We talked about platinum, which we don't get to talk about enough. And hopefully it was helpful to everybody out there. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.